Dr. Calvin's eyes darkened. Yes, but we have no way of telling which is the 63rd. There was a dead silence while the electric clock chimed 11 times, and then the robopsychologist said, "Very peculiar," and the corners of her lips moved downward. "Peter," she turned to her colleague with a trace of savagery, "what's wrong here? What kind of robots are they using at hyperbase?" Dr. Bogert hesitated and smiled feebly. "It's been rather a matter of delicacy till now, Susan." She spoke rapidly. "Yes, till now. If there are 63 same-type robots, one of which is wanted and the identity of which cannot be determined, why won't any of them do? What's the idea of all this? Why have we been sent for?" Bogert said in resigned fashion, "If you'll give me a chance, Susan." Hyperbase happens to be using several robots whose brains are not impressioned with the entire first law of robotics. "Aren't impressioned?" Calvin slumped back in her chair. "I see. How many were made?" "A few. It was on government order, and there was no way of violating the secrecy. No one was to know except the top men directly concerned. You weren't included, Susan. It was nothing I had anything to do with." The general interrupted with a measure of authority. "I would like to explain that, but I hadn't been aware that Dr. Calvin was unacquainted with the situation. I needn't tell you, Dr. Calvin, that there always has been strong opposition to robots on the planet. The only defense the government has had against the fundamentalist radicals in this matter was the fact that robots are always built with an unbreakable first law, which makes it impossible for them to harm human beings under any circumstance. But we had to have robots of a different nature. So just a few of the NS2 model, the nesters, that is, were prepared with a modified first law. To keep it quiet, all NS2s are manufactured without serial numbers. Modified members are delivered here along with a group of normal robots, and, of course, all our kind are under the strictest impressionment never to tell of their modification to unauthorized personnel." He wore an embarrassed smile. "This has all worked out against us now." Calvin said grimly, "Have you asked each one who it is, anyhow? Certainly you are authorized." The general nodded. "All 63 deny having worked here, and one is lying." "Does the one you want show traces of wear? The others, I take it, are factory fresh?" "The one in question only arrived last month. It and the 2 that have just arrived were to be the last we needed. There is no perceptible wear." He shook his head slowly, and his eyes were haunted again. "Dr. Calvin, we don't dare let that ship leave. If the existence of non-first law robots becomes general knowledge—" There seemed no way of avoiding understatement in the conclusion. "Destroy all 63, said the robopsychologist coldly and flatly, "and make an end of it." Bogert drew back a corner of his mouth. "You mean destroy $30,000 per robot? I'm afraid U.S. robots wouldn't like that. We'd better make an effort first, Susan, before we destroy anything." "In that case," she said sharply, "I need facts. Exactly what advantage does hyperbase derive from these modified robots? What factor made them desirable, General?" Connor ruffled his forehead and stroked it with an upward gesture of his hand. "We had trouble with our previous robots. Our men work with hard radiations. A good deal, you see. It's dangerous, of course, but reasonable precautions are taken. There have been only 2 accidents since we began, and neither was fatal. However, it was impossible to explain that to an ordinary robot. The first law states, I'll quote it, 'No robot may harm a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm.' That's primary, Dr. Calvin. When it was necessary for one of our men to expose himself for a short period to a moderate gamma field, one that would have no physiological effects, the nearest robot would dash in to drag him out. If the field were exceedingly weak, it would succeed, and work could not continue till all robots were cleared out. If the field were a trifle stronger, the robot would never reach the technician."